Hey everyone, and welcome back to That Disney Girl. This week we're going to be talking about my favorite value resort ever, and that is Disney's Pop Century. We'll discuss the resort and look at the rooms, and you can decide if this is the right hotel for your next Disney vacation. So I usually like to start out by talking a little bit about the history, but I've already actually made an entire video on the abandoned state of Disney's Pop Century Resort, and I will link that video down below if you want to check that out. But for now, we're just going to go into a really quick Spark Notes version of all of that. So after the success of the first 3 all-star resorts, Disney really wanted to carry off that momentum, and in 1999 they decided they were going to make a 4th value resort. Now this value resort was meant to be huge. It was going to be larger than all 3 all-star resorts combined. The resort was supposed to open in 2001, and after low tourism and some delays, it ended up actually opening in December of 2003. But it did not open up as planned. The reason this resort was going to be so huge was because it was going to basically be 2 parts of a whole resort. If you think about Disney's Pop Century, it's only half a century long, starting in the 1950s. And this is because the building that we have today is called the Classic Years building. If everything went to plan, we also would have had a first half of the resort called the Legendary Years buildings. And these would house buildings from the 1900s up until the 1940s. And if you're wondering where these buildings were, they are where Art of Animation sits today. So Disney's Pop Century has 2,880 rooms, and it houses themed buildings from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 90s. And following suit from the first all-star movies resorts, this resort has larger-than-life statues all around the grounds. It's perfect for children, it's great for Instagram photos, it really gives you something to look at when you're walking around the huge resorts. But if you need a break from all of that colorful theming, the newly refurbished rooms at Disney's Pop Century Resort will definitely give you that. Now I've stayed at this resort before the refurbishment and after, and let me tell you, it made a world of a difference. The rooms feel so much more modern and clean. It's a level of luxury that the Disney Value Resorts never had before, and for costs around $150 to maybe around $180 per night, depending on the season you're going on, it's definitely worth it. So the room is quite small at 260 square feet, but this isn't different than other value resorts. The floors are now laminate instead of carpet. This is amazing if you have children, and also if you're just a guest like me, it makes you feel a lot more clean. And now with the refurbishment, instead of having 2 double beds, you're going to get 2 queen beds, and these are going to be with some new mattresses, so they're going to be super comfy. And the way the rooms work is that there's going to be 1 queen bed waiting for you when you enter your room, and you're also going to have a Murphy bed. Now when that Murphy bed is up, you're going to have a table with 2 chairs. It's really great, saves a lot of space, and makes that 260 square foot room seem a lot larger. And this is actually something that's fantastic for a solo traveler or a couple, because now you can save a lot more space because you don't need to bring down a second bed. But if you do need both beds, you can certainly bring that one down, and there's going to be a really fun Disney design on the back of the headboard. And both mattresses are going to be the exact same, so you're going to get the perfect quality of sleep no matter which one you're staying on. And in the morning, if you want to save some more space, you can just pop it right back on up. We'll also have some really fun pop art of Mickey against the headboard of your queen bed that's there when you walk in. There's also going to be a coffee maker stand with Joffrey's coffee in there, and you have a mini fridge in case you wanted to keep some water with you. There's a stunning new flat screen TV and plenty of drawers to keep all of your things if you like to unpack when you're on vacation. Plus, with all of these refurbishments that Disney's doing, you have USB ports everywhere around your room. And I think one of the best improvements in Disney's Pop Century Resort rooms are definitely the bathrooms. I mean, take a look at what they used to look like, and now let's look at what they look like today. There is a huge improvement. My favorite improvement that Disney's doing with these value resort refurbishments is adding in this pocket sliding door instead of the curtain which used to be there. This gives you a lot more privacy, and if you're someone who likes to wake up earlier and get ready in the morning while others are sleeping, it makes that process a lot easier. You're also going to have some fantastic lighting in this room. There is only 1 sink, but it's definitely very modern, super clean, and lots of counter space. There's also a ton of room for storage in here, so if you run out of some space inside of your bedroom, there's going to be a closet inside of the bathroom, as well as plenty of places right in front of the mirror and sink. And speaking of mirrors, you have the large mirror that's right in front of the sink. You also have a mirror that separates the toilet and shower tub section of the bathroom. This makes it a lot easier for larger parties to get ready in the morning. And speaking of that second area, it looks fantastic. There's now a glass sliding door instead of a curtain inside of the shower tub combo. It just really elevates the room and adds a lot more value to it. So you have a safe in the room, you also have an ironing board if you want to take advantage of that. So let's talk about the location of your room. Like most very large and sprawling Disney resorts, the location of your room definitely matters because that's going to be the difference between walking 2 minutes to the food court and the buses or 10 to 15. Pop Century is definitely no different, but when you're booking, you can choose between a preferred room or a standard room. So buildings 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10 are going to be the preferred rooms at this resort, with buildings 4 and 5 being the really great rooms because these are right in front of the Hippy Dippy pool, which is right in front of the Everything Pop food court. And that's in the 60 section. Now I've stayed in building 5 before, and I've also stayed in the 90 section, which is a standard room, and I've actually found that both of them are pretty okay. If you want to be really close to the food court, especially for breakfast in the morning, I would suggest getting one of those preferred rooms because the distance does make a difference. But if you're just looking to get to the buses quicker, a lot of these standard rooms have shortcuts across the resort so you can get to those buses really quickly as well. And since we just mentioned pools, like I said, there's the Hippy Dippy pool, which I think is the most popular pool at the resort and has the best theming. You can also get the computer pool, which is by the 90 section of the resort, which I think is the worst pool at the resort just because it's just a square. And there is also a bowling themed pool, and that's shaped in a bowling pin, and that's in the 50 section. And if you want to talk about the Everything Pop food court, I think that this food court is basically going to be your standard value resort food court. But from my experience, I've had a little bit better food at this food court opposed to the All-Stars. Good thing about having a value resort food court is that it's gonna have food for any picky eater, especially children. I found that the lines actually seem to move pretty quickly, so you don't have to be daunted when you see those large lines in the morning. So I don't think the food here is gonna add any value to your resort experience, but if you just need a quick bite, it's definitely gonna do the trick. The Everything Pop gift shop is going to have everything you need if you want to do some last minute shopping, some themed gifts towards that resort, as well as any medication or anything that you may have forgot when packing for your vacation. And from my experience, the buses at Pop Century seem to be a lot more busy than the buses at the All-Star Resort, and I think this is just due to the sheer size of the resort. But they definitely compensate well because there are plenty of buses running, so they are moving a lot quicker. And a big plus for people deciding between this value resort and the All-Stars would be the fact that there actually is just one bus. When you're staying at the All-Stars, there is a chance that you might have to share the bus between the 3 resorts, and that's going to create a lot more crowds. So if you want to avoid that altogether, choosing Disney's Pop Century would probably be your best bet. I think the lobby here is fun, it has a lot of nostalgia in it, but I do think that due to the theming of the outside of the resort, they could kick it up a notch if they ever decide to do a refurbishment. And the 2 big bonuses of Disney's Pop Century Resort are as follows. Number 1, you get access to Art of Animation. This is Disney's newest value resort, although I say value because it's still quite expensive. They have some great pools that you'll get access to, a food court with some really good gelato that you can take advantage of. And I actually think that the characters here are probably the most Instagrammed that you can get from any Disney resort on property. And if you're wondering how you get there, it's the same bridge that would have been used if Disney's Pop Century Resort had the 2 halves. And this is called the Generation Gap Bridge, which made a lot of sense when you're thinking about having 2 resorts that kind of split up the generations. And although not currently a pro, it soon will be, Disney's Skyliner Resort will pick up at the Pop Century. The Skyliner is going to move busloads of people within seconds. It's going to be one of the best modes of Disney's transportation that you can get. And it's going to allow you to get to Hollywood Studios and Epcot a lot faster than those buses. Plus, it's a Disney experience that only few resorts on property are going to have. So that's it, we've explored Disney's Pop Century Resort, took a look at the refurbishments, and if you love this resort, definitely give the video a nice big thumbs up. You gotta make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and comment below on when your next Disney vacation is, and if you're gonna stay at Disney's Pop Century, or if you've stayed in the past. So until next time, I will see you real soon. Bye everyone!